You know, have you ever stopped to think about the incredible link between the food on your plate and the health of our planet? It's honestly one of the most critical relationships of our time. Today, we're going to unpack the really complex role that agriculture plays in the face of climate change. All right, let's dive right in.
So to really get a grip on this whole thing, we've got to start with the basics. This diagram here shows the greenhouse effect. Now, naturally, this is what keeps our planet warm enough for life to even exist. But human activities, and yeah, that includes how we grow our food, are pumping tons of extra greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and that traps more heat, which is what's driving global warming.
And this brings us right to the heart of the issue. See, agriculture is in a really tough spot. On one hand, it's a victim. It's struggling with all the unpredictable weather and new pests that climate change brings. But on the other hand, it's also a contributor, releasing a lot of emissions. It's a classic double-edged sword.
Okay, so let's really break this dilemma down piece by piece. We're going to look at how our food systems are both getting hit by climate change and, at the same time, are part of what's driving it. First up, let's talk about how agriculture is on the receiving end of all this. I mean, think about it. Weather patterns are totally disrupted, making it so much harder to plant and harvest. We're seeing more and more extreme events, crazy heat waves, droughts, massive floods that can just wipe out an entire season's worth of crops in an instant. Plus, you've got new pests and diseases showing up that thrive in these warmer climates. It is a huge, huge challenge for farmers everywhere.
Now, let's flip it and look at the other side of the coin. Agriculture contributes to climate change through emissions from things like livestock and fertilizers, and also through big changes in how we use land, like deforestation to clear space for more farms. But here's the kicker, and this might surprise you. Most of these emissions, they happen right there at the production stage, on the farm. It's not mostly from shipping or packaging, which is what a lot of people think.
So the problem is pretty clear, right? But the big question is, who's actually working on a solution? Well, that brings us to our next section, where we're going to meet an organization that has built its entire mission around this very challenge.
So meet TD.COLEAD. They're a nonprofit, private sector association, and they are stepping up in a big way to create sustainable solutions for agriculture, especially in African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries.
And their mission? It's ambitious, for sure, but it's also crystal clear. They want to help the agricultural sector become a major force in achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So this isn't just about growing food. It's about building a better, more sustainable future for absolutely everyone.
And they are definitely not doing this alone. Check out this number, 483. That's how many members are in their network. It's this powerful, collective force for change, and it's all built on partnership.
And what I think is so cool here is just how diverse that network is. Yeah, over half are the producers and processors, the folks on the ground doing the work. But it also includes research centers, retailers, professional organizations. It's this whole system approach, connecting every single part of the value chain. And that's what makes their work so powerful.
Okay, so you have this powerful network. How do they actually tackle the problem? Well, their strategy is really smart and effective. They call it a two-pronged attack. Let's see how they do it.
The whole strategy really boils down to two key ideas. First, you've got mitigation. This is all about actively reducing our impact to stop the worst-case climate scenarios from happening. Just think of it as avoiding the unmanageable. Then you've got adaptation. This is about preparing for the changes that are already here or are, let's be honest, pretty much inevitable now. This is about managing the unavoidable.
So what does mitigation actually look like on a farm? Well, it means cutting down on emissions, the sources, by doing things like using renewable energy or trying smarter farming practices, like no-till. But it also means boosting nature's own ability to capture carbon, the sinks, by planting more trees and, this is a big one, making the soil healthier so it can store way more carbon.
And what about adaptation? Well, this is all about building resilience, right? It's practical stuff, like picking crop varieties that can handle more heat or less water. It also means making bigger picture changes, like diversifying the kinds of crops you grow to spread out your risk, and really transforming business models so they're sustainable for the long haul.
A great strategy is one thing, but how do you actually make it happen on the ground? Let's take a look at the operational model that turns all these big ideas into real, tangible results.
This here breaks down their three-pillar model perfectly. It all kicks off with Pillar 1, making sure farmers have access to markets. Then comes Pillar 2, strengthening the whole value chain with training and tech support. And finally, Pillar 3, leveraging that impact by building networks and connecting partners with the money they need. It's a complete system, and it's designed to empower everyone they work with.
So if you're a partner on the ground, what does this actually feel like? Well, it's a really clear 5-step journey. It starts with just building awareness, then moves into testing out new methods, and then building up skills through training. After that, it's all about sharing what works to inspire others, and all of that leads to the most crucial final step, getting access to the financing needed to make these new ideas big.
And hey, this isn't just theory. Look at these real-world projects that have actually come out of this process. I mean, from creating valuable compost and even fuel briquettes out of mango waste to developing avocado oil production. These are real, tangible innovations that cut waste, create new income, and build a much more sustainable business.
The work they've done so far is seriously impressive. But let's face it, the climate challenge is not going away. So, what's next for COLEAD and all its partners?
Well, they are already looking way ahead. Their next major initiative is the Research and Innovation Brokerage Program, which is set to launch in 2026. It's all about continuing this vital work of connecting cutting-edge research with what's actually happening on the ground to drive the next wave of sustainable agriculture. Which really leaves us with this final massive question. Can agriculture both feed the world and heal the planet? The challenge is enormous, we know that. But as we've just seen, the potential for innovation and for people working together is also huge. The work of organizations like COLEAD, it kind of suggests that the answer could actually be yes. Can agriculture become a solution to the very problem it helped create? Now that is something to think about.